Hi everyone, my name is Jamie and welcome to my channel. Today I wanted to do a video for somebody who might be a beginner at makeup or not so confident in makeup. The look I did today was super easy. I only used 4 different shades of eyeshadow and 4 different brushes, and then I kind of show you different ways on how to put on foundation, tips, tricks, options. So we do kind of dive deep and get really in depth with certain things that come with doing your makeup. So if you want to learn how I got this look right here, then please keep watching. Okay, so I'm going to start with this Smashbox Super Light Photo Finish Smooth and Blur Primer, and this primer is water-based. When you are choosing your primer and your foundation, you want them both to be the same base, either silicone or water. They're not going to sit well on the skin if they're like interchangeable. So then I'm going to use this Urban Decay All Nighter foundation, also water-based. So there's a few different ways you can do your foundation. I like to just kind of squirt it on the back of my hand here. You can either pick it up and do little dots all over the face, or you can go in with a paintbrush like this. This one is from Crown, and you can kind of put this on this way. I'm not putting it on like perfect with the paintbrush because you'll see why in a second. On the dotted side, I'm using my Morphe M439 brush. It looks like this. It has seen some days. I've had it forever, but it's my favorite. And I'm just pushing it into the skin this way. You don't want to like smear it around. You really want to push in the foundation at first. So I like really full coverage foundations. If you don't like full coverage foundations and you want to stick with something a little bit more natural looking, I do like the Too Faced Born This Way foundation for more like normal to dry skin, and the Urban Decay Naked Skin foundation for more like combination to oily. And on the side that we use the paintbrush, I'm going to take a damp beauty sponge and I'm just going to work that into the skin. I feel like the beauty blender or the damp beauty sponge will give you more of a natural look in comparison to the brush. I feel like because it's damp, it does pick up some product, so it makes it a little bit more translucent. Again, it just all depends on what look you're going for and what you like to use. So I do not use drugstore foundation when I'm doing my makeup. I don't. I think that if you're going to be wearing something on your face, it should be good quality. And I know like a lot of people will like give you dupes or whatever, but you will not see me ever using a drugstore foundation on this channel. No, not happening. That's just my opinion. So for concealer, I'm going in with the Tarte Shape Tape Concealer in shade Medium Light. If you're new to like makeup or whatever, I wouldn't recommend going like full on freaking ham on your face. Just recommend doing a little bit underneath here, but always bringing it up kind of around. When you do that, I feel like it's really uplifting to the eyes. And then to blend that out on this side, I'm going to go in with the same brush I used for my foundation and just, again, press that in. And then I like to go over the eyelids because you want to set that for eyeshadow that's coming later. I'm a very, like, I don't know why I do things kind of person. I just do them and they work. So I really hope this makes sense to you guys. And on this side, I'm going back in with my beauty sponge and blending that out. Same thing, going over the eyelids. And again, there's no like right way or wrong way to do this. It's just whether you prefer the brush or the beauty sponge. So now I'm going to go in and set the under eyes first and foremost because they do crease really quick. I'm using this Beauty Bakerie Flower Powder. I do like the yellow shade, especially just for my skin tone. If you have a little bit more of a fair skin tone, you might like the just regular translucent powder. And for both sides, I'm going to use this Luxie 660 brush. I put a little bit in the cap here, and I'm going to dip in here, tap off any excess product, and I'm just going to pat that on the under eye and on the eyelid. Again, setting the eyelid for eyeshadow that's coming up. So then after your under eyes are set, I'm going to use this 106 Zoeva brush. It looks like this, big and fluffy. Swirling it around in here, tapping off any extra product, and then I'm just going to set the rest of my face. I'm going in downward strokes. I feel like it just makes the skin look smoother, especially because everybody does have like little hairs on their face. It just gives it a better look in the end, I guess. So you always, always, always want to set your cream products with powder products. So I used a really full coverage foundation, so that's why I went in with more of like a translucent powder for my face to set it. If you are wanting something a little bit more natural, you can of course set whatever foundation you have with a translucent powder. If you're wanting something a little bit more full coverage, but you don't want to use a full coverage liquid foundation, you could do a light to medium coverage foundation for liquid. And then I like this, I like this one. This is the Cover FX Mineral Pressed Powder Foundation, or Pressed Mineral Foundation, same thing. It's a little compact, looks like this, and I will go ahead and use like a Morphe E6 brush like this. It's flatter, a little bit more densely packed, and I'll put it in and then again, kind of like press it in and pull down. You just need to find what works best for you. It's makeup, play with it. There ain't no rules, girl. Okay, so for brows, there are a few different kind of products that you can use. You can use a brow pomade with a brush that looks like this, a spoolie, and an angled tip. I feel like this is harder to use for somebody who's just beginning how to do brows. So I'm going to use this right here. This is Precisely My Brow from Benefit Cosmetics. It's got a really, really fine tip to it. I feel like this is going to be the easiest thing to use and probably the most natural. So you're going to brush your brows up, and then from here, you're just going to do light little strokes. And when I first started doing brows, what really helped me was just kind of starting in the center here and kind of like making little strokes on your way up. I feel like this is the darkest part of the brow and it should be naturally. So if you're not looking for that like crazy like Instagram brow, this is gonna be perfect. So just kind of build up that product and work your way out like so. I have funky shaped brows, so I always have this weird like space here, but I'll kind of show you how I connect that in just a second. With your brow, you always want to make sure that your arch is, if you put your little product at your nose and go through your pupil, it's gonna be right there. So coming around for your tail, you should not go down. Kind of think about like going like outwards. That's going to lift it up. If you bring it down too much, it's gonna make you look sad. Nobody wants to look sad. Or maybe you do, I don't know. And then to connect the top here, I'm just gonna do a little light strokes until I meet the tail here. And then again, just doing little strokes and then going through and then just kind of connecting everything with little strokes. I like to go back in then with my spoolie and then just kind of brush everything together. This kind of just like blends it all. The hairs kind of start doing like an up and out kind of thing. So I am just going to, again, make little strokes and follow that pattern. And then once you get to the front, I'm going to just go up and down like so. And I am using much lighter pressure in the front area than I did for like this section here. Again, brushing straight up and out to kind of blend that in together. I'm gonna do the other side and then we can move on to eyeshadow. So now that you have your base and your eyebrows done, I'm going to go in with this Morphe palette here. This is the Morphe 350 palette. It looks like this. Really pretty and really easy to use. And then for the eyes, I'm also only going to solely use these brushes here. This is from a Morphe kit. I think they call it like Eye Slay or something like that, but it's like 12 bucks and you get 6 really easy to use brushes as well. So then after you have your eye set, you're gonna wanna go in with something a little bit darker for your transition shade. So let's go in with this color right here. And I'm keeping that right above the crease. I'm kind of bringing it out a little bit and in a little bit. This shade is just going to be used to make sure that the eyeshadows that you put underneath all blend together nicely. The Morphe eyeshadows are really nice and easy to use. Another one I really like is the Soft Glam palette from Anastasia Beverly Hills. Those products are really easy to kind of blend together. So then from there, I'm going to take this brush here. This one's just a little bit more dense than the other one we started off with. And we're gonna do one more shade, a little bit darker. And I'm going to use this shade right here. It's really warm and really pretty. And then I'm gonna put that right underneath into my crease this time. And I'm not bringing it all the way in, I'm keeping it, I would say 2/3 out. And I like to do circular motions and then windshield wiper motions, kind of like rolling it in my hands like so, and the circular motions to kind of blend outwards. Again, you can use any variation of colors that you like. This is just what I'm doing for my skin tone. Next, I'm going back in with that first brush we used, and without any, like, putting any additional product on it, I'm just gonna kind of go over that and blend it all together. And then taking that same brush again and going in with the same little concoction we used the first time and putting that right underneath the eye. To deepen up the outer corner, I'm going to take something, again, a little bit darker. I'm gonna go with this shade right here. And I'm going to start at the base of my lashes and kind of work my way up to the outer corner. Don't worry about it blending out perfectly because we're gonna go back in. And then you're gonna take that second brush you used and just kind of blend all of that together. I didn't apply any more product to this brush at all. Doing this step, you really want to take your time, and you can go back and forth, laying down a color, blending out, laying down a color, blending it out. I mean, it's not something that should be quick. It's not something that you just like do really, really fast. Like, take your time. Keep in mind when you're doing your crease colors and like darkening your outer corner, you want all of those to be matte. Usually, I mean, there are some exceptions, but I feel like if you're gonna do anything shimmery, keeping it on your lid makes it look a little bit more natural. Speaking of lids, we are going to use this shade right here, and I'm using this brush here, and I am just patting that onto the like inner part of my eye. So you don't have to necessarily highlight your brow bone if you don't want to. I'm going to today, but you're totally fine to just like stop here. I'm going to take this same brush and I'm going to go in with the lightest shade in the palette. And I'm just keeping that in the arched area here. And the eyes look really pretty. We used 4 shades and 4 brushes. I think we're good. So next for eyeliner. So I like to use a felt tip eyeliner. It looks like so. This is the Kat Von D Tattoo Eyeliner. The Stila Cosmetics one is really pretty too. This is just the one I have today. So what you're going to do is start in the middle here, because if it gets too thick, at least like it's in this middle portion here. And slowly make your way to the inner corner. Getting as close to the lash line as possible. And I'm doing really, really fine strokes. Now I'm gonna go back into the center and kind of pull it out. Just working on lining all of those lashes. Okay, from here, you can totally stop and put on some mascara and go. If you wanna learn how to do a wing, just keep watching. So when you're first starting out, it's kind of nice to have like a guide. So I'll just take a skinny brush and I'll put it right next to my bottom lash line and kind of see where the natural kind of fade goes to, and just do a little stroke following that. Same thing for the other side. So now that you have your little line drawn in, don't go to the very tip, but go right below it and bring that down. Same thing for the other side. You guys, practice makes perfect with makeup. You're not going to get it 110% the first time you do it. Give yourself some love, give yourself some patience, and yeah, you'll get it. Just keep playing. Also, NYX Cosmetics has a really good felt tip eyeliner if you're wanting something inexpensive to kind of play with at first while you're learning. So I don't like the way just eyeliner on the top looks, so I'm going to go in with that darkest shade we used here, and that same brush, that like little tiny domey brush that we used for the darker part of the outside of the eye. And I'm just going to run that along my lower lash line just to deepen it up a little bit. And because you put down that transition shade underneath here, it's just gonna look really nice and really pretty. You can still blend it out though. There's no such thing as too much blending. Okay, so now that you have your eyeliner on, you can add your mascara. It's a very personal thing. So I am just using the Butter London Double Decker lashes, and then I'm gonna curl my lashes because I have straight fucking lashes. So yeah, whatever you wanna do, do you. So if you're a fucking slob like me, you can keep little Q-tips at your makeup station and let your mascara dry if you get it on your eyelids, and just go through, it'll come right off. Don't try to go in when it's still wet. That's when you're gonna smear it and make like a whole issue for yourself. Okay, so the eyes are done. We're gonna move on to the face and we'll be good. So I don't want to show you a full-on like contoured, sculpted look. I wanna show you more of just like a basic kind of bronzed look that's going to add a little bit more dimension to your face. So I'm going to use this Park Avenue Princess palette from Tarte. It looks like this, and we are going to stick with this shade here, the one I clearly use all the freaking time. I'm going to use this big like fluffy brush from Crown Cosmetics, but I like it because it kind of is like tapered. I'm bad with words. So I'm going to kind of press it in, tap off any extra product, and everybody kind of already has a natural shadow right through here. So I'm just going to follow that, kind of like where your cheekbone is, stick right underneath that. I like to stay back, kind of near like the ear. Don't go in with a bunch of product at first, layer it, otherwise you're gonna look muddy. Once you get to a point where you like how this looks, then you can kind of bring it down a little bit. If you want, you can contour your forehead a little bit. I like to just go along my hairline. Nothing crazy. And I am going to contour my nose a little bit, but I'm not going to go into depth with this. I'm just going to do it. This is a completely optional step. To highlight the face, I'm just going to use this Prosecco pop here. It's really pretty. And I'm going to use this Morphe M438 brush. Looks like this. And I'm just going to find the highest point of my cheek. Just put a little bit here. And from here, you can add your blush. If you want more of like a popping highlight, you could do your blush, then your highlight. But if you don't want your highlight to be as poppin', you can do your highlight and then put the blush over the top of that. So I'm going to use this pretty Vulgar blush here. This is one of my favorites. And I'm just going to keep that back. I don't like to bring blush like in. Sorry guys, I haven't eaten yet today and I'm just like, words aren't a thing. And then I'm taking that same fluffy brush that we used to set our face and just blending all of that together. Okay, so from here you just do lips. So you can either put on lipstick, you can put on lip liner and a lip gloss. For me, and what I'm going for today is just simplicity and basics. So I'm just going to go in with this NYX Cosmetics Butter Gloss. Wow, that's really pink. I feel like it gives your lips a little bit of something, but it's not like crazy. And if you are a beginner at doing your makeup and you're not really that comfortable using lipstick, I would recommend kind of going in with a liner first and then putting a lip gloss over the top of that. That way you do get to learn the shape of your lips and what shape you prefer with your lips. All right, and then I'm just going to set this look with this Kat Von D Lock-It Spray. And they say if you fan your setting spray, it stays on longer. I don't know the science behind that, but just trust me. All right, everybody, this is the finished look. Something really super easy, and I hope that you were able to learn something today. And yeah, I do post new videos every Wednesday and sometimes Sundays. You know how life is. So yeah, if you liked what you saw today, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. And yeah, that's all I have for you guys today. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.